Well, yesterday was the second best day in the Major League Baseball regular season, followed by the first, which was Monday, which there were no games. So today we start the second half of this long, drawn-out season, and I'm hoping Braves fans will finally come together and realize now's the time. The stretch run. Don't want to hear any of these Debbie Downers. I got faith in you, Atlanta fans.
I guess the getting around's pretty much over with. You know, whatever happened. Now we got to get it going. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. He gets an opening statement. He's kind of taken advantage of that recently. I don't get one. I am just the opposition. And John, you could not be more wrong. This is Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light. And John, it's a little bit of baseball today. There ain't but one game, and that's the Mets and the Phillies in the same place, Philadelphia, where they had the All-Star game. And the Mets are terrible. So, I mean, it's not much, but it is a game. John asked yesterday, why are they playing just one game?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Not that I want more. I'm just curious why just one.
There's got to be some reason for that. There really does.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there really does. More on baseball in a little while, but we're starting to see, figuratively speaking, the flowers bloom, the bees are buzzing, the birds are singing and everything. All right, yesterday we had a terrific World Cup semifinal. Boy, the English absolutely just choked one away. I didn't realize you could play a prevent defense in soccer, but England did, and it cost them against Argentina, who played at Jordan-Hare Stadium a month ago. Somebody said, is this really a big deal? Well, now they're playing for the literally
roll Toomer's corner if Argentina ends up winning the World Cup.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the same question. John said anytime something of note happens at Auburn, John says, hey, are they going to roll Toomer's corner? Bob from Pike Road actually chips in, and he begins at 6:37 this morning and says, Bama is the brand of college football. Whoa.
Yeah.
Bob, we've never heard that from you before. So, all right, we get all that out of the way, but also they're on the course at Royal Birkdale.
That's true.
They got started at the Open while everybody was asleep. We're not even going to begin to tell you what the scores are so far, or who's out there, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of a thing this weekend. It's a major, but it just looks different than all the other majors. It's like, everybody goes out and plays in a big field with a 1,000-year-old castle.
That's how they started playing it back in the day. It's not my favorite type. I mean, I guess our closest taste of it is the Senator up at Capitol Hill on the RTJ Trail, which I enjoy playing, but it's personally not my favorite of the three courses up there. I mean, I kind of like tree lined and, some water features and things of that nature, but it is what it is. I mean, Duke still plays in Cameron Indoor while everybody else has a shiny new facility. So, I guess you do what you do. I don't know Daniel Brown or Sunglee Eam or Ryan Gerard, who are all tied at 4 under right now.
Sunglee Eam. Anybody want to give odds on whether or not he pronounced that even close?
Not even. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to, hyphenate it, and I don't know, but he's 4 under, as is Daniel Brown and Ryan Gerard.
Also
American.
Also on the course, Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, Tommy Fleetwood. The crowd's going to go a little bit bonkers about Tommy Fleetwood from the Live Tour. Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, they've already teed off. Right as we go off the air live, Cameron Young, who I think is going to win it. Wyndham Clark, Ludwig Aberg with, as John said, that little circle over the A. What's up with that? Rory,
notice this guy, he's only 2 off the lead. There's one guy that's just jumping off the leaderboard here, 2 back after 12 holes.
So, all that.
Minwoo Lee. Don't forget, I'm telling you, don't sleep on Minwoo Lee.
No. That's not the reason why the flowers are blooming and the birds are singing and the bees are buzzing and all that kind of stuff. we are getting to that point where it's media day season. We told you last week that the Big 12 began the circuit, so to speak, of media days. Excuse me. The 2026 Monster Energy Big 12 football media.
Make sure you get that right now.
Yeah, it started last week. The ACC, that's 3 days. It started yesterday, runs through tomorrow. The Sun Belt is underway. They started yesterday. The Mountain West started yesterday. SEC Media Days, once again, 4 days. The ACC's 3. The Big 12's 2.
Yeah.
What's the Big 10? Ooh, I don't see it. I'm going to have to look that up.
I was wondering, are they after the SEC Media Days?
Well, they haven't happened yet, so I would imagine they are after. Or, maybe they're going at the same time. SEC's 4 days. It begins on Monday through Thursday. Conference USA begins on Monday.
Oh, Conference. You can't miss that. Wow.
The
Conference
MAC
USA,
begins next Wednesday. Let's see. The Big 10. Big 10 begins, a week from Tuesday. I mean, they got a long time to go.
No kidding.
I mean, they go July 28th through July 30th at the Hilton, Chicago.
Barry, isn't that where they filmed The Fugitive, the movie? I think that was at the Hilton in Chicago.
Heck, I don't know.
I think it was, yeah. Jay ran here. You're the movie buff. Was that correct?
Yeah. Supply this for us. We need the info. ACC is, again, that began yesterday at the Hilton Charlotte Uptown in
Not familiar with that.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Today it's Boston College, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, all those schools that Alabama kicked off their non-conference schedule.
Don't need them.
Those kind of places.
Didn't the ACC used to go to St. Simon's Island,
Pinehurst, and stuff?
And they're at some Hilton off the interstate near the airport. I mean, what the heck?
Yes. Moving on up.
They go from some posh resort to some roadside hotel off I-85. There's some nice hotels in downtown Charlotte. Can I do it there? I mean, what's going on? And then what's up with this funky tiebreaker rule thing? Body of work. Is that code for eye test, strength of schedule, things like that? I mean, body of work. What? They're embarrassed from those 2 teams that played last year in Charlotte when Miami was head and shoulders above, better than any other team in that league, but they didn't get to play in it. Again, they're coming up with some cockamamie way to come up with the best teams to play in their championship game.
Cockamamie is such a good word.
Yeah,
such a good word.
I
and once
again, I pulled that one out of the vault.
It falls upon Barry for John to throw out an opinion randomly in the middle of a sentence, and Barry has to go back and tell you what he's talking about is this. And I'm hunting it up quickly. The college football playoff expansion. Tiebreaker policy. ACC head-to-head matchups will remain the top tiebreaker. Did you beat that team?
Yeah.
Followed by winnings percentage.
Yeah.
But subsequent tiebreakers involving 3 or more teams tied, like what happened last year when Duke played for it and Miami didn't even have to play for it, and they just scooted on to the college football playoff. Subsequent tiebreakers involving 3 or more teams will be settled by which team ranks the highest in the Sports Source Analytics Team Success Ranking, which is one of the cockamamie metrics used by the College Football Playoff Committee. So that's what it's going to be, and they're blatantly doing that because they don't want to have happen what they had happen last year with Duke, not only playing in it, but winning it, is they're going to say, hey, tiebreaker, who's got the best chance to make the college football playoff? Forget about what you've done. Forget about, I don't know, point differential. Forget about strength of schedule. It's going to be just, hey, which team's got the easiest path to get into the college football playoff?
Kind of sounds like
make
the eye
sure
test.
they get in.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like the eye test to me.
Well,
Airman Jay answers the bell. Yes, Chicago, Hilton, and Towers, a movie, The Fugitive.
Yeah.
With Harrison Ford. I thought that was right. Appreciate the confirmation there, Jay. Appreciate that.
Oh, that was
here early in the morning.
That was a Tommy Lee Jones movie. Harrison Ford was good, fine. Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones was in the sequel as well.
Yeah,
Harrison Ford did not make the sequel.
Tommy Lee Jones was not in the original TV series with David Jansen out there. But
that's right.
Hey, so you got the talking season going on with all of that, and which means after that, gosh, and of course we'll be live from down there in Tampa for the SEC Media Days Tuesday and Wednesday. Lots of guests, lots of stuff, lots of features. And then after that, we've got our tour of the SEC, and then, players will officially report, and then it'll be August, and then, you got preseason camp, and, all the guys that, who like to go around the water cooler saying, watch out for this kid. I heard he's run some really good up downs in fall camp. His agility has impressed him. You don't know. You don't know until you get the pads on, and then you start, game week, and then you play the season, and here we go.
Barry, I don't start forming an opinion.
Bees are buzzing.
I don't start forming an opinion until I get the bootleg videos from the scrimmages in August inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Then I see for myself. I don't need to hear what some ex-player saw or some, some other jock that got in there to watch. Oh, man, they're great. This offensive line's phenomenal.
Yeah.
What was that line in that song? Once bitten, twice shy. No, not doing.
Was that Poison?
I think
Rat.
It was. Yeah, Scorpions, Poison.
Yeah, something like that.
Cinderella.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to see it with my own two eyes. So yes, that was a shout out to my operatives in the field. They don't get caught. Do not get caught filming this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I'm not going to have any association with it. But as has been in the past, once I get it, I do keep it on the down low. I'm not sending it out to other people. It's just for my eyes only, as they say.
Do you remember what's that show, Behind the Horn, After the Horn,
around
like
the horn.
Through a tin horn, around the horn. Yeah, something like that. They got that guy at the very end, Tony Reale. He always used to come on and tell Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon where they belong. Jay Ran here is our Tony Reale. He says,
sure.
Great White sang
thank you, Jay.
White shy. Yeah.
Barry, I wanted to incorporate that into our show back in our radio days. I wanted to take the last 10 minutes and say, okay, how'd it go today? Well, fellas, at the 7:14 mark, you mentioned this. That's not actually correct. It was that. I thought, that'd be kind of cool. I'd like it. So we probably need more than 10 minutes.
Probably need more than 10 minutes on a daily basis out there. So there is that going on, and we're getting ready. Also, this is not a thing. I'm just going to say this because, very rarely do I try to be negative on this show, but this ticks me off really bad.
Okay.
According to Baseball America magazine website,
okay,
the SEC is reportedly expected to adopt a 3-batter minimum for pitchers and a limit of 2 pickoffs for conference games in 2027. Pickoff limits in college baseball are long overdue. The 3-batter minimum will probably save a lot of coaches from themselves who previously insisted on bringing in bad lefties for left-on-left matchups rather than letting much better righties face them.
So let me get this straight.
The SEC is starting to listen to the SEC's been listening to Longshore.
Well,
Longshore's been crying for this kind of stuff for years in Major League Baseball. I thought, you're full of beans, give me a break. And it turned out happening. Now, all of a sudden, the SEC, which has been listening to Longshore for years about football scheduling, rule changes, Now you're telling me SEC baseball, who John couldn't name 5 people who've ever played SEC baseball, they're starting to listen to him? That ticks me off now. Come on.
Yes, that is true. I could not list you. I couldn't give you 5 players that play SEC baseball.
Frank Thomas, Gabe Gross.
In the history of the game?
Ever played.
Dave Magadan. the dude that twisted his ankle in the College World Series.
No, that don't count. You got to get his name right. But the point is that why are they listening to him?
Because it's just common sense. I mean, finally, people
Gotta
wake
be another
up.
reason than
Now,
that.
let me make sure I got this right. A batter, let's just take, for instance, Alabama's playing Auburn.
Yeah.
The Alabama pitcher has at least got to face 3 batters. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah, sure, exactly. And don't throw it over there to first base 15 times. Boring.
You can only do it twice.
Yeah, this is great. Hey, Barry, how soon before we just start the game with a runner on second base?
Oh,
extra innings, boom. Go to
they
second
already
base.
do that in the Biscuits games. And
love it. Now, will this trickle up to Major League Baseball? There's been a lot of other things that have kind of been changing and altering the game a little bit in the spirit of speeding it up. I knew they'd come around one day. Look, I'm patient. I am a patient guy. I can wait it out.
Disagree.
I can wait it out. I can promise you.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah. So, and of course, in the Sun Belt and in the SEC did this during the SEC tournament, where you had, the ball and strike appeal, the square that you could appeal. That was a ball, and then they review it and everything. Now they're going to start doing it in the Sun Belt too. So, geez, it's starting to happen.
This is great. So, Barry, baseball once again is going to be a fun, exciting, entertaining sport. I'm looking forward to it.
He does not mean any of that.
I like the way baseball's trending.
Of it.
I love it.
Not a bit. Not a slightest amount does he believe that. But we are underway.
Yes, we are. And one Major League game today, full slate tomorrow and over the weekend for all you baseball junkies. Now, real quick, before we go to break, and we got Jason Caldwell from Auburn 247 coming up here at the bottom of the hour, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, sponsored exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Barry, is this the Robbie I think it is?
Robbie says Lindy's magazine does a terrific job on their previous.
The reason I asked this, Robbie, I don't want to hear about Lindy's magazine. I want to hear why the Braves have tanked it.
Robbie,
where are your Atlanta Braves, Robbie? You were talking 3 months ago. Oh, they're great. They're going to win the World Series. They're awesome, blah, blah, blah. What do you think today, Robbie? That's what I want to know.
Standing rule on this program that you can chat about or call about or talk about anything you want to. Don't let John steer you into, no, you can't talk about that. You can only talk about this. Don't fall for that trap.
I want to hear from you, Robbie.
Lots to come. We got a lot of people to hear from on the program today. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light! Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here! Oh, Bud Light there! I missed that because of you! You did not miss that play because of me! Have to stop talking this way? Yeah! It's actually kind of fun!
Hey, got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind! Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What'd I miss?
I have no idea.
Chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
20 minutes past the hour on this Thursday. Glad you're with us here, Longshore and McKnight. Presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Means a lot. Tell your friends, your buddies, your associates to do the same thing. Check us out at Yellowhammer News, yellowhammernews.com. You can check out their Facebook page as well. See us there. Our Facebook, YouTube, X, Spotify, Instagram, iTunes, all over the place. Just type in Longshore and McKnight in the search bar, and we will pop up. And heck, it'll kind of know your routines. It'll pop up for you when you wake up in the morning or get in the car.
Yeah. Sometimes that's kind of scary because
it is.
You know, John will get up in the morning, first thing, opens up the laptop, and it says, for your eyes only, and it's a Philip Marshall column from 2 years ago. And John's like,
Speaking of that, Barry, was this? I want to read you a quote because when I read it, I thought, I think he's talking about me. I thought this guy's got to be talking about me. See if this is recognizable, and see if you would agree that this is about me. He's the sweetest natured guy in the world.
Oh yeah, we can stop right there. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
He gets under people's skin. He doesn't mean to, but that's the way he's always played.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's the nicest thing I've ever read. Then I go read. I read it a little bit more and go, oh, he's not talking about me.
I've used that quote before or since. Auburn Undercover is now Auburn 24/7. They had the big rollout a couple of days ago. It's not autigers.com. It's not auburnundercover.com. Over under on our visit with Jason is 2. The number of times John will still call it that until but Jason called me yesterday a couple times. He had a chance yesterday morning to go to Auburn basketball practice. Yeah, they're practicing. Former Troy player Thomas Dowd transferred to Auburn. He asked me a little bit about him. And he used some of my quotes about Thomas, who's from Dothan, who is a terrific kid. One of the best kids you'd ever want to see. And yeah, one of the sweetest natured guys in the world. But he is relentless, man. And, people get tired of him going after every rebound and hustling all the time and, defending, never stopping. They're like, stop, man. That's kind of like John. The sweetest natured guy in the world thing is kind of like John, too. But I appreciate Jason. You can check it out at auburn247.com. It's everything else is the same. I mean, it's still Jason and Christian Clemente and Nathan King and all those guys. Love their work. We're going to talk with Jason in just a little bit. I did have a chance yesterday. I was at work, so don't tell anybody, over there on campus yesterday to watch a good bit of the World Cup semifinal in Atlanta at what they call Atlanta Stadium because nobody pays FIFA any money to call it Mercedes-Benz. And it was Argentina versus England. Argentina played Iceland at Jordan-Hare Stadium a month or so ago. And England scored a goal in the 55th minute. Which doesn't mean 55 minutes to go like it does in football. Man, he scored with 8:43. That means left in the quarter or whatever. In football, the 55th minute means you've played 55 minutes. And so England's up 1-0. And whoever that coach is went into the Tubber shell. Oh. The England coach, he stopped trying to score. He put everybody back, and Argentina is the number 1 rated team in the world for a reason. They scored a goal to tie. England still playing back, and then in stoppage time, Lionel Messi had the most gorgeous assist I've ever seen in the world, across into the middle. Kid, headed it in. Argentina wins it 2-1. English fans are screaming. When that, let me see if I'm right. Ryan Williams 2 years ago was a freshman.
17 years old, I believe.
Yeah. He, when Alabama played Georgia and he had that touchdown run at the very end to save Alabama's bacon from a humiliating loss of a big lead and everything. That wasn't in Atlanta, was it? That was in...
no, I was in Tuscaloosa.
That roar in Atlanta when that kid scored. Place was packed. Argentinians everywhere, English people everywhere. The place was packed. And when that goal came across, loudest sound ever heard in that stadium. I don't care about Super Bowls. I don't care about SEC.
I don't know. I was there when Tua threw that touchdown pass on 2nd and 26. It was pretty dadgum loud. That
was the Georgia
night.
game I was. That roar made that play, the touchdown pass to win the college national championship to Devontae Smith. The roar from the goal by Argentina to win it made that championship game win sound like a, what is the phrase? A gnat urinating on cotton?
Now,
sounds about right.
Fans, are you going to take that little,
tell me
jab,
that the World Cup is
that little drive-by?
If it was a big deal, they'd have played it in prime time in America.
Sure. I mean, I was at that Alabama-Georgia game right there in the back of the end zone, and that was about as loud as I'd ever heard any place. I'm not buying that. And, of course, I wasn't watching the World Cup yesterday. So I certainly can't gauge it. It's amazing. I mean, I was listening to an afternoon radio show yesterday, national. Not one time did they even bring up the World Cup. I thought, wait a minute. The biggest sporting event was earlier this afternoon, and you guys aren't talking about it? Well, what's going on here? What are y'all doing? I thought the World Cup was a big deal.
I'm sure.
I don't know.
Sure
I don't get it.
Yeah. If it's not being talked about by Joel Klatt, did it really happen?
I wonder. I do kind of wonder. Yeah.
And, before we go into some more craziness, like, it ain't that big of a deal. I mean, they'd have it. They'd have it on prime time in America.
Yeah.
I will point out that the finals are now set. Here's my question. The finals are now set. It will be Sunday in the World Cup between Argentina and Spain.
Being played where?
That'll be played in New York or New Jersey or whatever they call the place. MetLife Stadium, whatever you want to call it. East Rutherford, New Jersey. And that's well and good. That's on Sunday on Fox at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'll be on the golf course. I ain't watching. I ain't sitting around on a hot summer day watching soccer. Ooh.
Knowing how crotchety and old fogyish John can be sometimes about new things, I want to ask him about this.
Okay. On
Saturday in the World Cup down in Miami, it's not Joe Robbie Stadium, it's whatever. At 4:00 on Saturday, they have the third place match. I never have figured, consolation games.
No.
Why? And they'll sell tickets and everything. They're playing 90 minutes.
Yeah.
To determine who comes in third place. Even I, who like just to watch it. I mean, just if it's playing, I'm watching it. But even I am saying, why the heck? Well, why do you even have that?
Did they not do that in the years ago in the NIT basketball tournament?
They did.
Yeah.
They did it in the NCAA tournament back when it was like, 16 teams.
Nobody cares about third place.
I mean, who's going to call Jesse Tickets guy and say, oh, you got to I don't care how much, you got to get me a ticket to that third place game. You're playing 90 minutes, you're sweating, I guess, you're trying possibly. And when it's over with, all right, we finished in third place. What do? You pick up your jersey.
I mean, it was kind of like
you walk off the field and everybody's thinking,
it's kind of like when Chico's bail bonds came in second and Tanner said, you can take that trophy and shove it up your, who cares?
That is now that I kind of presuppose what John's reaction would be to that. Americans ain't in for that. Americans ain't watching that. A consolation game?
Hey, honey,
in America,
get ready. Get the popcorn. We're going to watch the consolation game.
In America, we ain't watching consolation games. How many of you are sitting around at 1996 Olympic race walking in Atlanta.
That was brutal.
And after their first two girls walk across the finish line, does John Longshore, who was at that event,
that was a gold medal? Barry, that was the gold medal.
Guys,
you call it.
Guys, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. They're walking for third place. I want to see who walks into third place here. Ain't nobody doing that in America.
That's a great point, Barry. I cannot remember the woman's name, but I can remember what she looked like. The lady that won the gold medal in Olympic speed walking in Atlanta in 96.
It was like the 10,000 meter speed walk. It's not like, I always wondered why they don't have the 100 meter speed walk championship.
They walked all through downtown Atlanta, and the last lap was inside Olympic Stadium. And that's where they came in. Everybody started cheering. Oh, wow, look at this.
After John and Dee Jackson went to Hong Kong King Buffet.
No, that was after an Auburn practice.
John would have won an Olympic speed walking 100 meter championship.
Yeah, true. But Barry, that was after an Auburn practice in August. We'd gone over there to watch Auburn practice. And on the way home, Dee said, hey, man, I know this great restaurant right over here off of whatever that street is coming off the interstate.
It's College.
Yeah.
But the deal is, John isn't going to sit there and watch practice.
No.
That's the same thing as a consolation game in the World Cup. Who's watching that? I guess they're betting on it. Anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, Jason Caldwell.
You just solved the puzzle, Barry. You're right. People are betting on it. That's why they're going to be watching that game.
Auburn 24/7's Jason Caldwell joins us in a moment on Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 6 minutes to the top of the hour. On Thursdays, we bring in our friend Jason Caldwell. Auburn 247. Jason, tell us about the big name change.
Yeah, that's it. Just nothing different other than moving to Auburn 247, which I love. That's the name I've kind of been wanting for a couple of years anyway. And so it's we just be able to connect with the network itself and a little more streamlined. But other than that, that's about it. So we're still CBS, still Paramount Plus, all the things that you love, and still Nathan King, Christian Clemente, Patrick Bingham doing all our videos, podcasts, those kind of things. And so as far as our coverage of Auburn and where it's located, still exactly the same. It's just a little bit of a name change. That's it.
Yeah, it's always busy, always people there. Jason called me yesterday. He said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm fixing to go out and conduct a basketball interview." "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I just got back from conducting a basketball interview." You were over at Neville Arena and you were talking with Thomas Dowd, who's one of my favorite kids ever in college athletics. You got a lot going on. What was your impression of yesterday morning basketball?
Yeah, I wrote that story this morning about him, and when you start comparing, I said, listen, he is not Dennis Rodman off the court, but on the court, like he plays like Dennis Rodman used to play. It doesn't have that outrageous factor, his hair's not colored and all that stuff, but like yesterday in a practice, he probably had a dozen offensive rebounds. And,
wow.
Barry was talking about it and he was talking about it. He's like, look, I love doing that. I love frustrating folks. And I think it was frustrating for his teammates because, like, every time the ball, was in the air, he was there. And so somebody was like, they're like on responded to my story, said they're looking forward to watching him play. I said, it's a lot of fun. I said, but it's not a lot of fun for everybody else on the court when he's out there. But it's a really interesting team to watch because there's a lot of different pieces, and it's obviously size is quite different. Buki has been here for a couple of months working, but Narcisse is a massive human being. He's probably the biggest player to ever play at Auburn.
Whoa.
Austin Wiley was muscle and broader shouldered, but in just terms of just size itself, he's probably as big as anybody that's ever been here. And so it's going to be really interesting. He can move. He's athletic. So it's a lot of pieces on this team. Now you just got to see how you can put them together. That's always the interesting part in this transfer portal era.
Talking about this young man, Dowd, his hustle, his attitude, his energy, those are things you can't coach. A guy can't coach that. You just got to want it. And going out there and busting your tail and doing whatever it takes to get noticed and help your teammates. I'm with you. Those are guys that you like watching play. Those are guys are fun.
Yeah, he's not here if he doesn't play that way. Because, you look at him and go, he's listed at 6'8", 235. He's probably 6'7", but he's a big kid. But there's probably nothing distinguishable about his game where you go like, he's a good shooter. He's good at these things. Mm-hmm. But what he's good at is doing all those things. And he told a story. He said, look, his dad, he was on an AAU team. And he wasn't getting to play very much. And his dad told him, well, you got to do something to get on the floor. What's it going to be? And he's like, I'm going to go get every rebound. And he started doing that, and now he's playing in the SEC.
Yeah. His dad's name is John. I've talked with him before. And Thomas is one of 11 kids.
Yes.
And I asked him before. I said, his relentlessness it probably began at the dinner table. You better get yours. You get a chance. So, but help us read the tea leaves on this. I personally was more than a little surprised about the move with baseball to move Gabe Gross out of the hitting position and upstairs into the athletic department. But then the next day, Auburn hires the hitting coach from Georgia. So this probably had been in the works for a while. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of it. I think at the end of the year, Gabe has 2 teenage, children. And so I think for him, listen, I talked to a couple of the coaches yesterday, and he said since the end of the season. So you went like, boom, since the season ended, had 2 days where either he wasn't in the office or they weren't on the road recruiting. 2 days. And that's the world now. People think about it. They think about it in terms of football. And you think about, man, how busy it is for a football coach. And you go, well, baseball coaches, as soon as the season's over with, no matter when that is, you have transfer portal that you have to deal with. You have to try to keep your own players. So you have to meet with your own guys and that roster building, how much of your budget goes into those things. And then you go, you got to figure out, okay, what players are you going to lose in the draft?
Right. Which you don't have to worry about with college recruiting, but football recruiting.
Yeah. And that's not just high school guys. You have to go visit high school players and go, okay, you're going to sign, how much money is it going to take for you to sign? you have to, you're talking about tea leaves. There's nothing more tea leaf than trying to figure out a baseball draft. And then, your current team, okay, guys, Chris Rimmer's going to sign. I mean, like there's no question about that one. And you feel pretty sure probably a guy like Eric Guevara because of his injuries, but you go Alex Petrovic and Ron Hetzler, and then you have some guys down the line who are a little bit older, Jet Johnston and Garrett Brewer, and you go, okay, what are you going to sign, period, or do you want to come back? And well, if they start going, well, I think I'm going to sign if I get this, then you go, okay, well, then that means you're going to sign. So we have to count on you not being here. And so I was told, listen, you lose, 7 current players and you lose 3 signees to it. And I talked to the coaches. They was like, listen, if we had gotten back 4 of those guys, we would have had too many players. Like you have to count. You're counting on guys moving out of the program and moving guys in. Hey, were they hoping to keep 2 or 3 of those guys? Absolutely they were, but it didn't work out that way. And that's part of it. I think for Gabe, it's like, listen, there's so much of that. I want to enjoy time with my family. And I think it was the right time for him leaving a nucleus of players to build around. And then Nick Amorati is the guy that I think is the perfect fit at the right time because of his connections to this coaching staff. And then, what he does offensively and things he brings. I think it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Jason, earlier this week, interesting story about Auburn's game against Baylor in Atlanta, opening up more NIL opportunities for student athletes at Auburn. Should we read into it that this won't be the last time Auburn plays a game away from Jordan-Hare Stadium?
I think when it was signed, we were talking about, hey, don't be surprised if this starts something that other teams do. We've seen people do it in basketball already, playing in Vegas in players era and things like that. Auburn's doing that. But I think right now, if they don't do anything to change how college athletics works, I think as a school, you're going to have to pursue pretty much every avenue to try to help yourself. And that's what Auburn did. Because listen, we were talking about, a couple of weeks ago, it used to be your roster and recruiting. It didn't guarantee that you won, but if you weren't one of those rosters, it guaranteed that you weren't going to win. And now it's money. It's money. Yeah. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to win if you go out and spend money, but if you don't, it pretty much guarantees you're not. And so you've got to find a way to go supplement rosters and do some of those things. So I don't think it's going to be one of those where you go every year you're going to play a game in a situation like that. But I could see every couple of years, if the schedule works out, finding other places to play, because listen, it takes every penny right now to go out and compete with some of the schools that, in this league and around the country.
You had a chance on Auburn 247. You mentioned you do so many of the podcasts and so many of the videos. It's not just the written word and everything. You guys have branched out. You had a new Auburn 247 podcast, you and Nathan King and Christian Clemente, who I love, about the toughest games this season. And we encourage everybody to go. I listen to those podcasts quite a bit when I'm out and about. Give me one of those games that you think is a sneaky tough game, Jason.
Yeah, it feels like, because you look at the league, and we'll figure out next week when you start to talk to coaches. It used to always be, everybody's worked harder. You never worked harder than you did this off season.
Culture's never been better.
Yeah. Now when you go to this thing, it's, well, hey, we got this guy on our roster now, because that's it. You just don't know. I feel like in this league this year, there's a pretty clear separation. It feels like the top 4 or 5 teams, you go, man, those teams are going to be jumbled up. Feels like Georgia, Texas are probably a step ahead of everybody else. But then it feels like from 6 to about 14, you could throw them in a hat. And it feels like that's kind of the way this Auburn roster sets up, because I think, you're looking to go, you're playing at Georgia, you're playing at Alabama. Those two, are going to be difficult games. Those two you put at the top of the list. To me, you start thinking about sneaky difficult, and I think at Mississippi State, kind of a sneaky difficult game. Their quarterback is so athletic, a guy that can run and make plays. And listen, at home last year, now down the end, they didn't play great, but they were ahead of Texas and dominated that game for much of the time and lost in overtime. And it's year 3 for them, so you feel like, okay, they've kind of set some things in stone a little bit. That one feels a little sneaky to me because the rest of them, there's nothing really sneaky about. You go like you play LSU at home against Lane Kiffin, or you play Florida early at home. The difficulties just in terms of not necessarily talent with this Florida team, but the situation with that game. And you go to Ole Miss, nothing sneaky unless they're not as good as people think they're going to be, which I think could be. You go to Knoxville, Tennessee. I mean, I don't know how good they're going to be, but you still got to go to Neyland. So, I think that's probably the one that there's just a lot of unknown. We're going to SEC Media Days this year, and there's 16 teams, and I think 9 of those teams didn't bring a quarterback.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned Mississippi State, Jason. We had Phil Steele on last week, and he said the same thing. He thinks Mississippi State's a game that Auburn needs to watch out for.
Yeah, I think it's just, first of all, you look at the teams at the top and you go, who do you feel best about? And it's not just because of talent that you feel best about Georgia and Texas. It's because they got quarterback. And then you go, well, who else do you feel good about? Texas A&M. What's one of the reasons why? Because they got a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's why you look at it and go, for Auburn, if you can put some pieces together, you feel like, wait, the one thing you're not worried about is quarterback. You've got that guy and he's in place. That's such a big deal. And, it used to be you talked quarterback battles at this thing, but in recent years, you haven't really talked quarterback battles because you either had your quarterback back, and if you didn't, you went and got a transfer and you plugged that guy in. There wasn't really a battle going on. And this is the first time in a while I can remember a bunch of quarterback battles in this league because it's just not done much anymore. Normally you just go get the next quarterback and you play, and that's what happens. And it feels like that's a little bit different this time.
Can't let you go without asking who you like maybe at Royal Birkdale, Jason.
Yeah, man. It's really interesting. I've kind of been in and out of consciousness watching it since about 4:00 this morning. I couldn't sleep, so I got up and turned it on and stuff. And it's if it's hard and fast. And that used to be a very difficult situation. But if the wind doesn't blow and it's hard and fast, I mean, somebody's going to be 22 under before this thing's over with. And, you look at a guy like Bryson DeChambeau, and like if the wind doesn't blow and he can hit his driver and hit his irons, like that guy's going to score. And so I think you look at people that hit the ball long have a massive advantage. But I don't know, there's probably, 50 guys right now, it seems like, that are about 3 under or better. And so it's going to be a wild one down the stretch. But I think right now I would go with Bryson, and those guys that can bomb it. And he's got pretty good touch, and he's played pretty good in majors. And so I think that's a guy that I would look at right now.
Yeah, Alex Smalley's got the lead right now at 5 under, but you mentioned DeChambeau only 2 back. He's at 3 under, as is Scotty Scheffler. So yeah, watch out. Some of the big dogs are out early today over there at Royal Birkdale. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm with you. I was watching some of the Golf Channel preview, Jason, and they were talking about the weather. I mean, it's supposed to be 70 degrees and sunny. And, this isn't your normal U.S. Open type weather with cold, windy rain and stuff like that.
No, and it's very different than a U.S. Open, for example. At the U.S. Open, they can defend the course by making the greens faster and by growing the rough and do those things. Well, they can't do that over there. The defense for a course is weather and wind, and if you don't have weather and wind, then it is defenseless. It can be, like I said, these guys don't care. It can be hard as fast as you want to.
Yeah,
they can still control the ball. Now they said a little bit of it, you can drive it a little bit and it might get into it, but that rough is wispy because it's not thick and lush. They play out of that. No, I couldn't, but they can. So I think it's gonna go low unless they get some wind and some things change.
Well, as you see on the scroll at the bottom of the screen, is Auburn 247, but on social media, it's still at ITAT. Jason, let's stress it again. The name has changed. Everything else is still as comprehensive and high quality as it's always been, right?
That's right. We had a couple of basketball stories up this morning. Thomas Dowd and Kevin Overton. Christian has some recruiting thoughts, and I'll jump back in here later this morning with some thoughts on another position, those competition battles. Look at position battles. I'll have another one of those this morning, and then get a chance to talk to Nick Amarati today about his move to Auburn baseball and this roster and those things as well. So, yeah, it's not slowing down, but we'll flip the script next week, and it'll really ramp up when we get to Tampa. We'll be heading down on Sunday and see you guys down there for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely see you there in Tampa.
Much appreciated, Jason. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Great content, as always, from our man, Jason Caldwell. Auburn 247 is the new name, but everything else pretty much staying the same. That coverage that you've been relying on, depending on, it is there. My go-to source for athletics.
Honestly, was really, really trying to get in. Chris the Bammer is about to bust a blood vessel, wanting us to talk about the flip of Selma wide receiver Cedric Simmons from Auburn to Alabama. I was going to ask him about it. I had it on my list, but I just skipped right over it.
Chris, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, is going to join us here, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market in about 10 minutes. But are you really worried and concerned and interested in a 3-star? Or how about the number one wide receiver in the country, Monsoon Sales, going to make his announcement on Friday?
Is his nickname Soupy? I don't
know. I mean, this kid grew up, I think his nickname was Bama. Now, he lives in Indiana. The Hoosiers are certainly in the mix. Hard to believe, along with LSU, Ohio State, and Texas. But Alabama's one of his last 5 as well. Will the number one wide receiver pick the Tide on Friday? We'll ask Rodney that here in a couple of minutes. But, I mean, okay, it's nice having some little 3-star guy. And is it more the fact that, and I don't really care that he's a 3-star. It really excites me the fact that the Aubs lost him. And he ended up with
no
us.
doubt about that. Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah.
About Chris the Bammer out there, or will he be like the number one offensive lineman in Ohio who John did everything but dog cuss the other day? Really, if he was any good, you'd think he wouldn't be in Columbus. This kid Sales, according to our buddy Joe, says he's either going to Texas or to Indiana. Yeah.
That's what Joe's saying.
Well, stay with us. Coming up in just a moment, it's Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. Okay, a couple of minutes to the top of the hour. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, scheduled to join us, brought to you by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. I'm hearing all this World Cup talk, and it's unbelievable. Yeah. Argentina, Atlanta Stadium, playing at MetLife Field this weekend. One thing I have not heard, the television ratings are through the roof. Maybe they are. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any report on it. I mean, normally after the Super Bowl, the TV ratings were through the roof for the college football national championship or the Final Four, the Masters, or whatever. Do we have any information about how these games are going over from a television side with the number of eyeballs that are actually watching this without falling asleep?
And this would have to be the way it would go. John says, have we seen any of this? If we are honest with ourselves and logical in our thinking, we would realize that what John's talking about, I haven't seen any rating stuff about. Here's what would have to happen.
Okay.
Somebody would have to print out in large print on big pieces of paper the latest ratings. They'd have to trudge on over to Montgomery and Mr. Longshore? Mr. Longshore, are you home? Oh, there you are. Yeah, hi. I am from the World Cup ratings people. I have in front of you, look, right here. I have the ratings for the World Cup. Would you like to see it? Hello, sir?
You missed one thing.
That's what's happening. He ain't looking for them.
Yeah, they would
he ain't sitting there going, hang on. Oh, wait a minute. Let me take a look at these. I'm really interested in the world. Mm-hmm. You would have to literally go to his door and wait for him to open it in his boxers and in his fluffy slippers.
Yep.
And with his coffee and say, Mr. Look at these. Look at these.
Yeah.
In order for him.
Well, probably wouldn't buy it. You missed one thing. They'd also need to get the highlighter out and highlight the important points like the actual ratings number and things like that.
No pie charts.
Yeah, I'm about to say somebody brought radio coverage maps down to our studio years ago and some of these bogus numbers and whatnot. So I've been down that road. So I don't need to see that.
Even if
you can email them to me, or if there's a site I can go to. I mean, I'm not trying to be cute and funny here. I'm actually kind of interested. Are these ratings really, compared to other sporting events in this country that we know attract a large fan base? And there again, I'm trying to help FIFA soccer out as much as I can. I mean, I really am. I'm supporting you people. I just don't think you're going to grow the sport in the United States of America when you're playing games at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. But that's just me.
Well, it would help if we ever got like to the
2:00 on Tuesday. So let me see them. You go to ESPN.com. I'm thinking there should be some story. FIFA World Cup ratings through the roof. Fox is jumping they're doing backflips. I couldn't be more excited. I hadn't seen that yet.
I'm not believing any of it. It's not like I don't believe that. No, I don't believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. I'm trying to help them.
Yes.
This is John Longshore, who hasn't watched more than 15, 20 minutes of soccer in his life. offering to help the World Cup increase its viewership.
So, Barry,
right.
there is a pattern here. I mean, I've done the same thing with Auburn. Hey, man, you got to branch out. You got to play teams outside of a 3-state area. Boom, Southern Cal gets put on the schedule. Years ago. It was awesome.
I'm looking here as we're speaking.
Yep.
Even though I get suckered into it every time. John says, Barry, do you know what the ratings are? He'll do stuff. Barry, do you know what the ratings were for the 2017 Auburn Louisiana Tech game?
Yep.
And of course, nobody knows. That's John's way of saying, Barry, can you look up the ratings for the 2017 Auburn? John, I don't even know if Auburn played Louisiana.
Well, we do know that
I'm not falling into that.
Outdrew Auburn, Florida on a cable game. Barry, I'm looking. I actually looked this up. Most watched soccer telecast in U.S. history was the U.S. versus Belgium round of 16, averaged 33.8 million viewers on Fox. Was that game on a Tuesday at 2:00?
It wasn't on a Tuesday. I think it was at 2:00 though. I
think it was a Sunday night game. I believe that game was in prime time because my wife was watching a little bit of it.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, be that as it may, John is suspicious of how many people really care about the World Cup. It's the most popular event in the history of sports around the world all the time. And John's like, I'm not feeling it. So we got to move on here.
Yeah,
got to move on here to Rodney Orr, the Tiger Insider, presented by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Rodney, good morning.
Hey, Rodney.
Good morning, guys. Can y'all hear me?
How you doing today?
Yeah, good. Doing well. How are y'all doing?
We're doing really well, and hope you are as well. First of all, we've got a viewer who I'm worried about his heart palpitations. That is wanting to know all of the inside information about the flip from Cedric Simmons, the Selma wide receiver from Auburn to Alabama.
Yeah.
And whether that's a big pickup.
Yeah. I mean, I think, certainly I think he's done a fantastic job and on that level. He's not really big. He's probably 5'9", 180 pounds, something like that. But he's really elusive. He's very productive. I mean, he caught 106 passes last year for over 2,000 yards,
Wow.
20 touchdowns. So he's extremely productive. Now, I'll say this too. I guess you guys know he's Malcolm Simmons' brother, the former Auburn star, now at Texas Tech. So he's got the bloodlines. What that always usually tells me, or it certainly is, could be an indication of his talent, is just, growing up like that in a competitive home, with great athletes, it certainly helps, man. It really does. We just like coaches' sons, just like coaches' sons. It's really important.
Yeah, I would say so. What do you think the tipping point was? What do you think got him to Tuscaloosa instead of at Auburn?
Well, let me say this, John. It's a long way off. He's already gone. He's already gone back and forth, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
History tells us, especially when it's this early, when it's a player that's kind of bounced back and forth a little bit, that it may bounce back again a time or two. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying, that's just a warning here.
Yeah.
All right. So I do think Derek Nix certainly, coaching there at Auburn, now at Alabama. The familiarity, the relationship is certainly really big. And I think he grew up an Alabama fan even though, like I said, his brother played at Auburn. But, so there's some things there that I think certainly influenced that decision to Alabama. And I think Alabama probably turned up the heat a little bit more. Maybe they offered him a little better NIL package, not necessarily better than Auburn, but better than what they had initially offered him. So I think those things probably all contributed.
Now, Simmons is a 3-star of the 2027 class. This upcoming year will be his senior year of high school. John talked a good bit about this guy. Anthony Blaylock Jr. is a 2028 offensive lineman. He's got his junior year in high school in 2026, senior year next year in 2027, and then he'll be in the class of 2028. That's an even longer time off. And for a lot of our viewers and a lot of the people we talk to, the real value of that guy is that he's an offensive lineman, and maybe there will be hopefully some more offensive linemen that'll come down the pipe.
Yeah, no, you're right, Barry, because in this class right now that they have, the 2027 class, they've got one offensive lineman committed, really one defensive lineman committed. I've really not seen a high school class like that at Alabama. But that said, there's certainly some reasons for that. But yes, I think Anthony Blaylock Jr. out of Youngstown, Ohio he's an outstanding looking prospect, 6'5", probably 310, 315. It's a guy that has a little versatility. I think once you get them here, sometimes you can kind of get a better idea of where they're going to fit in, whether it's on the interior or offensive tackle. So we'll see what happens. Now, again, like you said, there's 18 months. Ohio State's been in there. Texas Tech's been in there. A lot of schools have been in there. And here's what I'll say about that, John and Barry. I don't think he's probably received his biggest and best NIL offer yet.
Yeah.
But now listen, I'm telling you, there's the people, they get a little antsy when you say that. Like on TiderInsider.com, they don't want to hear that. But the fact is, this could be a long process when you're starting to look to 2028.
That's very interesting, Rodney, because they feel the same way at Longshore McKnight as well. They don't want to hear that. And, of course, earlier this week I said, wait a minute. This kid's the #1 offensive lineman in the state of Ohio. Do you not think Ohio State's going to keep recruiting this guy? Or some of these other schools with bottomless pits of cash? I'm not saying the guy doesn't end up in Tuscaloosa, but I don't think this is over yet.
No, 100%. I totally agree with you, and that's it's not that he won't, like you said. I mean, but you certainly have to get the warning out there that look at the situation and evaluate it, and understand that. And it's not just Blaylock; it's a lot of these 2028 kids. There's a long process here, and I remember Saban said many times. He told us in off the record meetings or whatever that, hey, I really do not like early commitments because it puts a target on these kids. And now with NIL, you can only imagine how much more of a target that they have. So anyway, it's a long way off, and it's not, again, it's not downplaying that they've got a great commitment, but let's keep it in perspective.
When we talked to you last Thursday, the day after our visit, Rodney, a kid that I've seen play, Benjamin Russell, quarterback, Kingston Prayer, he is a long way off. He is a class of 2028 quarterback, and he's a guy that's 6'3". When I saw him play, the first thing I thought of is that he's got a frame where he could carry a good bit more weight and get a lot stronger. He's already athletic, strong arm, and all that kind of stuff. That led to a conversation about, Alabama quarterback recruiting because, gosh, you got Jet Tamala, you got Elijah Haven coming in, you got Prayer, you got, 2 quarterbacks right now that are vying for the job. That's a lot of quarterbacks, Rodney.
Some people say, wow, if they only recruited defensive and offensive linemen like that.
Yeah, people that have said that, yes.
Yeah, that is a lot of. Now, again, you know how it is. You're going to lose some guys, obviously. So I get it. You've got to make sure you've got a top, especially this offense is quarterback centric. So they've got to have a top quarterback, for them to execute what they want to do. And he is an outstanding player. He's a fantastic player. In fact, spoke to someone, a former coach, about him a couple of days ago, and that has firsthand knowledge of him. And said some really, really positive things about, like you said, the frame was one thing that was mentioned. He's going to be a 6'3", 210-pound kid. He can throw the football. He's really smart. He has a high football IQ. One of the things that was, expressed was this kid is unbelievable in terms of his understanding of protecting the football, the importance of, not taking unnecessary risk, even though he's really talented, and guys that are like that have a high propensity to say, I can make this throw or whatever, but that he's really, really smart in the way he handles the football. So just some really high quality things about him. I think he's a guy, if he sticks, that eventually you're going to hear him right in the middle of, I think the tools are there for him to eventually be the starter.
Well,
Wow.
John, I do know this. Can you imagine? Because I've heard reports, John, that Tuesday when Destin Connection Seafood Market, when they got back after that week-long vacation, man, David Scott walked into the place and the phone was ringing. People were waiting for them to get back open again.
You better believe it. And of course, Rodney Orr is brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market right here in Montgomery, where they've been bringing trucks up daily for the past 32 years with fresh Gulf seafood, fresh shrimp in all sizes, crab meat, oysters, and all varieties of fish. Also a full-service kitchen. Don't forget about that. They can cook it up for you as well if need be. Call 288-4272. That's 334-288-4272. They're right there, the Destin Connection Seafood Market on Norman Bridge Road. Rodney, tomorrow, I believe a player we've talked about several times over the last couple of months, Monsoon Sales is slated to make an announcement. The wide receiver, the 5-star wide receiver who has a lot of big-name schools on his list.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, his ties to Alabama. He's from Indianapolis, or he lives there. He's gone to high school there. His roots are in Birmingham area, and made a great visit here back late May, early June. Everything went extremely well, but you've got Indiana, which now is a major player. Texas, obviously, about them, and Ohio State. So, and LSU's even been in there. But I really think what's going to happen here is probably Indiana would be my guess right now. I think Cignetti has targeted him, and that's a guy he wants, obviously, to keep in the state. I think it would be a real statement for him in terms of, okay, these are top players from Indiana, or a top player from Indiana, and we just won the national championship. We're not going to allow someone else to come in and take one of our homegrown guys, So I think Indiana's really focused on getting him. And I think probably that would be my guess if you asked me to predict right now.
I'm not asking you to categorize this. We talked about this yesterday. I got my Phil Steele College Football Preview magazine, and he always does a good job of, the top individual units in the country. He's got Alabama's offensive line for 2026 rated not in the top 10, not in the top 20. He's got them rated number 61 in the nation on the offensive line. There's no way that could be the case.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, now let me ask you a question, a follow-up. What does he have Alabama ranked? I assume he ranks the top 25, right?
Yes.
Or whatever. What does he have out?
He has him as a number one surprise team. He's got him ranked number 14 overall in the overall rankings.
Okay. Well, that would put them out of the playoffs. So then it kind of jives with that the offensive line. And what I mean by that is I think the offensive line has to be better than that for Alabama to be successful this year. And I don't really know what 61 means, but I just would say that I think the offensive line has to be dramatically better. We know that they have to be able to run the football. If they don't, then they're probably going to lose 4 more games this year in the regular season. I mean, this would be 3 straight 4-loss seasons. Now look, I've said on TI, this is just my opinion. As I kind of look at this team early, I think, okay, 8-4, 10-2. I could see it going either way. I really could. But here's another factor. We really don't know all these other teams because every team has so much transition that we can sit here and we can say, well, they're playing Georgia. No, and I do know Georgia returns a lot of productivity, so that's probably not a good. But what about some of these teams that have lost a lot of players? And, so I just say that it's tougher, more difficult to predict now than what it used to be.
Well, Phil even mentioned that. I mean, he's been doing this for over 30 years, and, he's been very accurate.
Great.
Accurate
He does a great job.
preseason predictions. And as Barry mentioned, Alabama's there. He's number one surprise team, which means that's a team that will not start the season in the top 10, but he believes they will finish in the top 10 and will be a playoff team along with Texas and Georgia. I'm certainly not going to argue with him. As Barry mentioned, he breaks down position groups. Alabama's position groups don't rank very high. I think that his defensive backfield is the highest ranked position group that he has. So
that should probably be 1, 2, or 3.
He's got him number 6.
6. Okay. Yeah. Well, fair enough. They're really good. I mean, they're very talented.
Well, let me go back to the offensive line because you know a lot better than anybody. What are the real flashpoints on the offensive line? If you're to say right now, mid-July, for the offensive line to be really good, this position or this player or these players need to be very good on that offensive line. What are the flashpoints there?
Well, I think it starts with mentality, mindset. And I don't. Some people tell me, and these are former offensive linemen, their concern is it's the scheme. The scheme. Now, I don't know if Clem is going to be able to adjust that or not, or change it. You know, he's talked about in the past, I've listened to some of his interviews. Adrian Clem, of course, the new offensive line coach. Yeah. I've listened to some of his interviews, John and Barry, and he talks about, you know, now the way the game is played, it's not like I like it. I want to be more physical. I want that first step going after the defender. I don't like sidestepping and all this stuff. Well, that's a lot of what they do. You know, it's up front. They haven't physically lined up and taken control of the line of scrimmage by going after, you know, the defensive front. So I think it's mindset. How does it change? How does the scheme, does it get adjusted a little bit? Or are they becoming more physical up front? They've got to have a nasty streak. So with all that said, I would just say that, you know, there's several spots on the offensive line. Center, Rayson Delgatti. Right tackle, Javen James or Nick Brooks. Left tackle, how does Jackson Lloyd, the young player, come along? Left guard. I mean, there's a lot of question marks up front.
You know, Rodney, I think you hit right on it, because when Barry asked the question, the first thing I thought of is it the players or is it the coaches? Because, you know, we had guys last year, former players, former SEC players going to Alabama practices just raving about the offensive line, and then we saw them play, and I'm going, wait a minute, what were they looking at? Because these guys don't look very good. So obviously these players, you know, have got the physical traits to do it, but was it the coaching and the scheme, as you mentioned last year, that needs to be changed, where you're firing off the ball and hitting somebody in the mouth instead of trying to get cute and touchy and feely?
Yeah. Well, I think there's probably, and look, I'll do respect to Coach Cap, that was the offensive line coach last year, because I think he did, you know, certainly bring some good things, but there was a coaching change there. They've revamped that thing. Now they've got an assistant offensive line coach, Rihanna Talamaveo, who was at USC. So they've got a new tight ends coach, and I don't say Brian Ellis did a great job. I mean, now he's quarterbacks coach, which is probably his niche. So they've done some things up front. They've adjusted some personnel with the guys they brought in from the portal. There's a lot of things there, I think, and they have to make big steps. Now, 15 practices in the spring is not enough to tell how an offensive line is going to perform. I do know that. Now, I do have former players who've been there, who've watched it, and they say they've got major concerns about the run game. They've got major concerns about pass protection. But we'll see. I mean, sometimes, I'll say this, John, sometimes there's a player or two that can change everything. And let me go back. I'm just going to give you an example. And people think I'm crazy sometimes when I say this. But 1989, when Gary Hollingsworth came off the bench, that was no bulldozing offensive line either. Okay? And I just say that when he came in, the whole offense kind of exploded. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. And I love Austin Mack, and I think he's a legitimate candidate to win this job. And this could go for Austin, or it could go for Keelan Russell. But I'll say Keelan Russell here. If he's who here he is, and the glimpses that we've seen that remind us so much of a Bryce Young type player, his playmaking ability could elevate everybody around him. It could change everything. It could open up the run game. those types of things. So we'll see. I'm not trying to put a lot of pressure on Keelan Russell, but you know what I'm saying? Things can change. One or two players can change a lot.
Now,
you know,
go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
This time of year, well, go ahead, because I think I want to end with this. I think
well, I don't want to get into this conversation again, but John he showed off a little bit earlier in the week when he was just casually tossing off references to Alabama USC 1977. I can't remember. Some Alabama guy,
Wayne Hamilton,
deflected a 2-point conversion or something like that.
You know, Barry, I was going to ask that same question. It's amazing we were thinking along the same lines. We did talk about the Alabama Southern Cal game in the Coliseum in 78, I believe it
77.
was. If I mention Wayne Hamilton, what game do you think of, Rodney?
That's it. I mean, he was a sophomore. He had a breakout game. Listen, that was on October the 8th. You go back 3 weeks, September 17th, they played Nebraska, 1977, in Lincoln.
Was that the Jeff Rutledge 5 interception game?
Jeff Rutledge, 5 interceptions. And guys, listen, they couldn't tackle I.M. Hip. They couldn't tackle Rick Burns. It was a debacle defensively. 3 weeks later, they go to USC against the number 1 ranked team in the country, and it was a different game. The defense, and a big part of that was Wayne Hamilton. So he was a sophomore defensive end. They ran a 5-2 back then. He was really like an outside backer, but they called him defensive ends. And he was totally disruptive that day. Had an interception, but no. What happened was on that 2-point conversion, it was 21-20. USC had just scored late in the game. I think it was under a minute. 50 seconds left in the game. They score, and instead of kicking the extra point for the tie, John Robinson goes for the win. And Rob Hurdle, the quarterback, actually, Hamilton sacked him. He was on his knees when he threw the ball. And if that been completed, what a disaster, because they didn't call it a sack. He was down. He throws the ball up, and Barry Krause intercepts it, thankfully. And Alabama gets out of there 21-20 with a huge, huge win.
You know, those Pac-12 refs, I mean, you're right. The guy's knee was on the ground. Unbelievable.
Okay.
Wayne Hamilton.
You know what I get out of that story? Holy smokes. Alabama played Nebraska and USC within a month of each other in one season?
Yeah.
Be kidding me.
Hey, Barry, let me say this. Let's move forward a year when Alabama won the national championship in 78. They opened in Legion Field with Nebraska. Then 2 weeks, they took a week off. Then they had Missouri, USC. They had Washington a couple weeks later, and Washington was the Rose Bowl defending champion. They had to go to Seattle. And they won that game 20-17. Again, they played a rough schedule.
I was in like 9th grade. So this is Bama. This is what you want. I don't want Southern Miss and UT Chattanooga. I want Nebraska. And then in the 80s, Rodney, when I was in school, they played, help me here, Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, and Southern Cal all in the same season.
86, they opened at with the Ohio State. You remember that?
Derek Thomas had about 4 pass interferences in a row.
That was up in the Meadowlands. That was the kickoff classic. They played Florida, which was Florida was pretty good, but they also played Notre Dame. They played Penn State. They kind of overscheduled because, man, there were some good teams. LSU was really good that year. Auburn was really good. They had a very tough schedule. That team went. That was 86. That team went 10-3 in Perkins last year. And you know what? It was a team that probably should have been 12-1, probably. They were a really talented team. They were just gassed at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. I think they might have played Southern Cal in a Sun Bowl game or something, if I remember. You know, you mentioned that game against Nebraska. It opened up the season at night at Legion Field. I.M. Hip was still playing for the Huskers. Alabama beat Nebraska bad that night, 20-3. It was on. That game was on recently. Tom Osborne was not very happy when he crossed the field to shake Coach Bryant's hand.
You know, I was thinking about that last night. I wonder, because, you know, in about 75, they were trying to hook Alabama and Nebraska up in the Sugar Bowl. And Coach Bryant had so much power, he could kind of pick who they wanted to play.
Huh.
And, you know, Alabama was on that skid where Coach Bryant could not win a bowl game. Alabama had not won a bowl game since, about 67?
Yeah.
And Coach Bryant, I think he maneuvered a little bit to get Penn State in that Sugar Bowl.
Huh.
That was the first college game played in the Superdome in New Orleans. And it was played in, I think it was might have been New Year's Eve night, 75. All right, so Alabama was trying to break that streak. And Osborne was furious because he knew that, or he felt that, you know, Bryant had manipulated that to get Penn State. And so Nebraska had to go to the Fiesta Bowl, which was not a very highly regarded bowl at that time, to play Arizona State in their home stadium. And so, listen, here's where I'm going with this real quick. I know you guys got to go.
No,
go
hey, we're about to have to switch John to a wide-angle camera because he's smiling, man.
Well, here's what happened there. So Osborne's furious. He calls Bryant a son of a buck. You remember that? So it created the Nebraska fans hated Alabama, and Alabama goes to the Sugar Bowl, beats Penn State, snaps a streak. They win 13-6. But before that, Nebraska had lost to Arizona State 17-14 in the Fiesta Bowl. So the Alabama cheerleaders were on the sideline wearing shirts. Happy Fiesta, Nebraska. Wish you were here. Wish you were here.
Ooh.
Those were the days. Now they get, you know, all of this social media outcry. And
I mean, Coach Bryant pretty much picking and choosing who went where to go to what bowl game. Those were the days.
We may have to let John off for the rest of the show so he can collect himself.
Oh, man, so good. All right, Rodney, let our listeners know how they can become more involved with what you do there at Tider Insider, TITV. Man, you're on top of everything. How do they get involved?
All right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card. If you prefer, there is an address there to send a check, but it gives you all our information. A lot of discussion right now on the forum. That's where we've been it's a slow time. So, but that, and also just real quick, my book, Bigger Than Bama, if you're interested, it's right there on rodneyorr.com, or you can go to Amazon and look it up, get all the details.
Excellent stuff as always, Rodney. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, greatly appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, buddy. Talk next week. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market right here in Montgomery, where they've been bringing trucks up daily for the past 32 years with fresh Gulf seafood. We're talking fresh shrimp in all sizes, crab meat, oysters, and all varieties of fish. They also have a full-service kitchen. Don't forget about that. You can call ahead at 334-288-4272, and your order will be picked up, ready to go. I love their grilled grouper po' boys. Their sides are incredible. Fried shrimp dinners, you name it, they've got it. They can cook it up for you, or you can take it home and prepare it yourself. They're at 3750 Norman Bridge Road, the Destin Connection Seafood Market.
How do we distill all of our chats? We've got a couple of different strong ones. Bob from Pike Road and way offsides Jeff. Jeff says Alabama hasn't been physical since 2020 on the offensive line. Bob from Pike Road says, wrong, you're wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. You know, that BS, Jeff. We played physical in 2021, 2022, and 2023. You are absolutely wrong. Way offsides, Jeff says, we dominated Michigan? He said, then you've also got Brett from Beauregard.
Nice.
Love that guy. Brett from Beauregard on a different angle. He says, 1983, Auburn's schedule was not only the toughest in the nation that year, it was voted by Sports Illustrated and the Sporting News as the toughest schedule ever at that point.
Who did they play
time? He said, yet the writers who got paid off voted Miami number one.
Are they still sore about that?
Plainsman Preston says that is true, Brett.
Man,
sure.
Man.
So
but didn't was it John Cohen or some other athletic director that went ahead and just gave him the natty anyway? Didn't they just go ahead and say, hey, we're going to take it. Why not? Who cares? If you think you want it, then you want it.
No, it's not. You think you want it, you want it. It's Wayne Atchison did it over in Tuscaloosa, and we've sat on ours for years and years. I say we go ahead and claim it. 1983.
Yeah.
Was that what we're talking about, Brett?
I think
1980. So. 1983. Auburn went 11-1 that year. Of course, capped off by the immortal Al Del Greco field goal to beat Michigan in the Sugar Bowl.
Believe it or not, I was at that game. Yours truly,
Auburn beat Southern Miss.
Oh, wow.
Lost to Texas on a Friday. I was at that game.
Friday? I don't remember that.
Was
that in Austin or in Auburn?
No, I'm sorry. That was on a Saturday. That's right. That was on a Saturday. This thing is written wrong. They won at Tennessee. They won close at home against Florida State.
Okay.
They won big at Lexington. They beat Georgia Tech in Atlanta. I was at that game. They beat Mississippi State. They beat Florida. They beat Maryland in Auburn. They beat Georgia. And they beat Alabama 23-20. And then, of course, they beat Michigan. Somebody said that was the toughest schedule in college football history up to that time. So you can take your Nebraska, you can take your USC, and tell you what you do, Yankees. You take your trophy.
Well, what had Texas done prior to 1983?
Well, they won the national championship in 1969.
Okay. Wow. 69, 14 years ago.
I think they won a championship, some sort of a partial championship in 77 with Earl Campbell.
Was Dion on that Florida State team? And wasn't that in the early years of the Bobby Bowden run?
It wasn't early. I mean, it was earlier. It was the first half of his career.
Was Maryland any good?
Boomer Esiason played for Maryland.
Boomer Esiason.
Yeah.
Well,
if
that makes you happy, and 83 was tough, who am I to argue?
Stay
go
with us.
for it. I'm in.
We're late for a break. We'll catch up somehow. Next, we got the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Yeah, you better know it. Heck yeah.
We got that coming up.
It's
Quick
coming.
segment, then another break. But let's take a break right here. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Have to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey,
I got you, Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What'd I miss?
I have no idea.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 26 minutes to the top of the hour. A little late for the Daily Dog. Before we get to that, let's tell you what's going on over in Royal Burkdale. Alex Smalley still has a one-shot lead through 17. He's 5 under. A couple of golfers at 4 under right behind him. Daniel Brown and Sunjae Im at both 4 under. Am I pronouncing that right? It's close enough.
Is it IM?
IM.
It's 2 letters, John.
It is.
2 letters, and it's M. It's not Im.
Sunjae Im. Scheffler
it's a
is
2-letter word.
Back.
Oy.
Ooh, Bryson DeChambeau dropped a shot. He's 3 back. So here's an update for you there of what's going on over at Royal Birkdale. All right, only one game today, Barry.
Yes.
In Major League Baseball. Ooh.
And it's between a team that started out horribly.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Phillies had like a 1% chance to win the World Series 2 weeks in.
Yep.
But they've gotten hot. Some people think they're actually threatening the Braves at the top of the National League Eastern Division. And their chance to win the World Series is now the 3rd best chance in the National League. Meanwhile, you got the New York Mets, who had the 2nd best chance to make the World Series from the National League at the season started. They have the 4th worst record in Major League Baseball, and their chance to make the World Series now is at 0.4. Which I think was my grade point average. Anyway.
So. Well, Barry, it's the second half of the season. It's a new beginning. Turn the page, a fresh start, if you will. So maybe the Mets will maybe start the second part of the series off on the right foot. Who knows? Philadelphia, as you mentioned, just 2 games out of first place against the reeling, struggling Atlanta Braves. At least that's what I'm told, that they're reeling and struggling. So tonight in Philadelphia, Barry, believe it or not, ESPN is actually going to cover this game. Obviously, I know it's a slow sports time. World Series of Poker reruns, cheerleader competitions from SeaWorld are usually dominating the airwaves this time of year. But ESPN thought enough of it. Why don't we put America's pastime on during prime time on our network tonight? So that's what's going to happen. Mets at Phillies. Now, Barry, of course, Phillies are a favorite in this game, but we're looking at the run total of 10 runs. Now, it's a fact. The Mets don't score a lot of runs compared to other teams in this league.
They stink. They
don't score a lot.
No, they don't.
They give up a lot though, so you kind of got to get a little give and take there.
Combination, by the way.
Yeah,
they don't score a bunch.
Yeah. But they've given up a lot.
And they do give up a lot.
Philadelphia's kind of even in terms of runs scored and runs that they allow. But we don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game tonight for several reasons. I mean, most of these players have been maxing and relaxing for the last 3 or 4 days during this All-Star break. So we're expecting them to come in a little rusty, got to get the chip off a little bit. And then they'll get into the groove and back into the swing of things this weekend as they begin their weekend series around the league. But tonight, one game, it will be a low-scoring game. It will go under the total of 10 total runs. Mets-Phillies tonight, 6 p.m. first pitch, not 6:04. Maybe it is. ESPN's coming on at 6. Maybe a 3-4 minute pregame possibly. I don't know.
You're like, can we just go?
Yeah, do we have to drag this out even longer?
Good gracious.
Man, let's get going. And hey, tonight would be a good night, Barry, of installing the rule, only 2 pitches over to first base. You got to face 3 batters, all that kind of stuff. I mean, this new rule in the SEC I'm very excited about. But tonight, under 10 runs, Mets, Phillies, 6 o'clock ESPN.
This is John's. He opened up the segment by saying, no, we're a little bit late for the Phantoms Daily Dog. We'll have a real quick segment here. But first, let me tell you what's happened at Royal Birkdale. And then later on, we'll talk about a little bit more about how baseball is boring and everything. But here it is. Yeah. Okay. So that's about as quick as we can get. It's about as quick.
Barry,
unless he were to bring up either I got a quick story, or, Barry, it's kind of like, and you're thinking, better settle in.
It's similar, and this used to drive me crazy, but I get it. It used to drive me crazy. Next on SportsCenter, Bama, Tennessee highlights. Boy, this is going to be great. Boy, this is great. You go through the commercials, you get back, they go to baseball. You go, wait a minute. You told me we were going to Bama, Tennessee highlights.
Didn't say they were going to do it immediately. And in WNBA basketball, Lisa Leslie and the LA Sparks, and John's like, Let's go.
Come on.
Which I know probably some of you are saying as well. Let's take a break. Got to catch up a little bit. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, back at it here on Longshore and McKnight, 19 minutes to the top of the hour on our live version. Of course, you can watch, you can listen at your convenience, on your schedule. That's the beauty of this format. We lay it down live every weekday morning from 7 until 9, and greatly appreciate all of our viewers and listeners as we do it live, but we know so many of you watch and listen on your schedule. We really appreciate that. You can still hit the like and subscribe button and all that kind of stuff as well. When you watch it that way, we really appreciate it. Check it out. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, iTunes. Run it through your Bluetooth in your car. Watch it on the Yellowhammer News Facebook page. So many ways to check us out. As Barry mentioned, we'll be in Tampa next week. And, of course, bringing you our program live. It'll be from 8 to 10 Tampa time, but 7 to 9 Central time because we'll be in the Eastern time zone. But you can watch and check it out anytime you want.
I did not think about that. Real quick segment here. Promise them the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. I love Bob from Pike Road, also known as Scorched Earth Bob or Shock and Awe Bob. There's a mild disagreement. It's something as innocuous and simple
like that word.
As you know, I think the Alabama offensive line did not play physically from 2020 on or from 2021 on.
Okay.
Bob from Pike Road says, well, I think they did. Way offsides. Jeff says, I disagree. Bob from Pike Road goes shock and awe. He says, you have revealed that you are clueless as to how Alabama has played physical the last 3 or 4 years under Saban. You did that to yourself. Don't talk about things with authority that you know nothing about.
Wow.
Okay, that's a little.
It's a glove off, huh?
It's a little. Tobias got in and he said, Smitty, that is not relevant to the issue being talked about. Under Saban, Bama played physical because Saban demanded it. Didn't matter who the O-line coach was.
That's
Saban
right.
burned through a ton of coaches. Woo.
Well, I think Rodney hit on some really interesting points, as he always does when he joined us here today. I mean, Barry, here's the theme, and we're going to hear this a lot in Tampa next week. Got to wait and see because there's so many new faces, so many new players on these rosters. Do you really have a good feel, an educated guess? I mean, do you have any data to look back on? Because there's so many changes. You don't have guys that are, there 4 or 5 years and they're going to be back next year, and you saw them play last year in limited roles and you felt good about them and thinking, man, when they get another year under their belt, they're going to be great in this system. They're not there anymore.
It's hard.
How do you know?
It's hard because you used to look, you'd talk with your buddies, and some of those guys a little more creepy would say, yeah, I've watched this kid grow ever since. Really? You've watched him? Since he was a freshman. Remember Egbert? He came up here when as a freshman. He ain't weighed but 235 pounds. Now he's 290 and all that thing. You used to be able to do that. Now you look back and say, remember when that guy was a freshman? No. When he was a freshman, he was at Cal Poly. And now all of a sudden you expect him to anchor Alabama's offensive line? Anybody know about Rayson Delgatti? No. But all of a sudden, you guys are forced to root for him when 2 years ago you'd never even heard of Cal Poly, much less Rayson Delgatti, which is a pretty cool name, I'll admit.
It's pretty cool.
But, are we supposed to? John and I have never done this. We've never voted for an all SEC preseason team at SEC Media Days because it's dumb, really.
Yeah.
Now, this year, here's my caution. Next Friday, a week from tomorrow, you'll be seeing all of these releases about such and so was named second team preseason all SEC all purpose.
Yeah. All purpose.
Ain't nobody know. John and I have been amongst all of these media members, and some of them we use the phrase media members very loosely. They're out there voting, and you think they know who the fourth best all-purpose player is? They don't even know who the best wide receivers are.
Barry, this year I'm going to try to contain myself. When that cute intern comes by, she walks by everybody's broadcast location and hands out the, voting slips, the forms for you to vote on the preseason teams. I'm going to at least.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. Whenever she walks by, John's like,
I'm going to try to at least let her get 3 or 4 locations away from us before I do it.
Yeah. And, I'm like, John, she can hear you when you say, yeah, right. I mean, she's only right there, give her a little space before you crumple it. She can hear you crumple it up.
There again, what? They bolster about 1,200 media members attended this event. Only 63 voted in the preseason All-SEC team.
Yeah, and you can imagine who those 63 are.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones who are over there wide-eyed, starry-eyed. Oh, boy, isn't this great? While they help themselves to punch and cookies. You're
always going to get one guy that votes Mississippi State to win the league. And I'm going, why do they shamelessly waste my time? I don't know.
It's pretty shameless. When we come back, Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. It's our Thursday show, Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
It is Victoryland, where you can be a winner too. Open 24/7, 365. Exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. Victoryland. Make your plans to be out there tonight, this weekend, whenever it's good for you. A lot of fun, a lot of winning at Victoryland. All right. Man,
here we go.
Great chats going on.
Yeah.
River Region Straw chat line today.
Yes. It's our own little world over there. We got some great topics on the Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, presented by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85, Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Goodness knows they've had a lot of giveaways, a lot of winning.
You better know it.
Over at Victoryland.
That's
We
right.
got 6 topics, no clue. None of love the colors, love the titles.
Beautiful.
We begin. All right, you're going to have to help me on this. Wearenschuld?
Sounds like a soccer player.
It sounds like something you should say, bless you, afterwards.
Bicyclist.
Oh, I forgot to mention the Tour de France.
How could you forget
I never
that?
call it France except in the Tour de France. It's the Tour de France. Let's see. Wearenschuld. Some of those Scandinavian countries, they put the A and the E together. It's kind of like Ludwig Warburg with a spare circle on the top of his A.
Correct.
Let's say an average speed of 50.9 kilometers per hour. I have no idea how fast that is. Wearenschuld beat his teammate IKEA somebody, I don't know. He says it means everything. It's my biggest win so far. Sometimes I have good confidence and believe in myself. Sometimes I feel tired and like it's impossible to win here. Kind of like Auburn in Athens. I felt really bad at the start, but I felt better later on. There you go. There's too much other stuff going on in the Tour de France. They got teams. This guy's got to break the breeze in front of the guy behind them, and then it's the other guy's turn, and you got to tuck in behind him. Man, get me out there with my banana seat bicycle on the streets of Palm Bay, Florida. I'll take on anybody back in the day.
You know, Barry, I tell you,
bicycle riding is supposed to be fun, not.
Probably shouldn't think of it this way, but it's kind of like NASCAR. When I do see clips of the Tour de France, when a guy hits the curb accidentally or maybe too tight in the turns and he takes a spill and, barrel rolls a couple of times, that's what they show on SportsCenter. Nobody wants to see a bunch of guys going down a flat street in the middle of Paris. They want to see him up in the French Alps, winding through there and the guy hit a rock or something. Ooh, ouch, that had to hurt.
Yeah.
Walk it off, buddy. Walk it off.
Yeah, I want to be the guy in the moped. I want to go Cam Newton behind it, be the guy sitting on the back of the moped facing the riders with the camera. Hey, you tired? I've been doing a little trash talking. Boy, you sure do look tired. I'm sitting here on this moped loving life, dude. And let me give me a drink of water here.
Yeah. Can you pedal any faster? Come on, man. Let's go.
Man, somebody tell the 2 axe handles on that guy. Jeez,
that's a good one. Yeah, Tour de France. Okay. All right, 5 more to go here.
All right, here we go. We're got still left. Good pace here. Good time.
Could this be the 3-star wide receiver from Selma that flipped to Alabama?
It certainly wasn't John and my contract back in.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a new expansion team in Seattle. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who still looks like somebody out of a Tim Burton movie. They are fighting to bring the NBA back to Seattle.
Okay.
Going to call them the Supersonics.
Yeah.
There's a bid there for the guy who owns the hockey team in Seattle. But there are some secret bids. He said, hey, if you want to stay secret, that's up to you. Last week, reports suggested Seattle's expansion bid was lagging behind Las Vegas, where at least 5 groups had publicly entered the race. The apparent lack of Seattle competition had raised concern that people weren't really feeling Seattle. But Seattle had a great franchise. Why in the world they left Key Arena as the Supersonics and went to Oklahoma City?
Who they've done well, but I wonder these small market, the Memphis, Orlandos of the world.
Hey, I don't know how they do it. I was in Oklahoma City back in March and April for the NCAA tournament there. That stadium, that arena is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But Oklahoma City, honest to gosh, John, Oklahoma City's like Huntsville.
Yeah, I'm about to say it was like Birmingham, maybe, same size, something like that.
And it ain't like there's a jillion suburbs. It's not like the Oklahoma City metro is expansive.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how it works, but it's working in Oklahoma City, which is not a basketball hotbed or anything.
I would think not either. But the Pelicans, I've wondered about them as well, how long they can stay there. I guess they're going to stick around. All right, 4 more to go.
New Orleans isn't that big either.
It isn't. It is not. I think there's I'm not sure there's any Fortune 500 companies in New Orleans anymore.
Not
there were some
anymore.
before Katrina, but I don't think there are anymore.
Only place that's hemorrhaging Fortune 500 companies more than New Orleans is California.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oof. Don't tell Newsom that. He's Mr. Pumping Sunshine out there.
Bathed in glory.
In glory.
Wayne Hamilton story. No, yeah.
Glory.
All right, Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
That's him with the long hair. That's many years ago. Greatest player in soccer history. Lamine Yamal is a really good player. Oh, he plays for Spain. Yep, that's right. Spain with Lamine Yamal. Messi's 20 years older than him. They had, get this, Messi was 20 back in 2007, and they had a series of photographs when Lamine was only like 5 months. Messi is bathing the child, a photo shoot, bathing the child in Barcelona. I don't know how that happened and everything. They entered a raffle. Hey, you can have a photo shoot with Lionel Messi. Messi's on the left. He's 20. He's the best player to ever play soccer. On the right is Yamal, who's the best young player. He's 19, and I think he's the best player for Spain. They're going to play against each other in the World Cup 20 years later. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like
Interesting.
that.
Good stuff. Neat story.
Yeah, is that like, John, have you ever had your picture taken as a kid with Bear Bryant?
No.
You may be the only kid in the state of Alabama who's never.
No, I don't think I did.
Jeez. I mean,
Barry, I was not one of these guys trying to photobomb and get in a picture with a current Alabama head football coach. That wasn't my
It's
style.
like if you watch John at SEC Media Days, I mean, somebody will come up, one of the wet behind the ears newbies will go, hey, Mr. Longshore, can I get my picture today? Sure, kid, come on. But John ain't going by to, oh, boy, can I get my picture with? He ain't a, hey, take my picture kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, Barry, I'm not going to
midfield of
I'm not going to push some state trooper out of the way at the midfield handshake while the TV cameras are interviewing the winning head coach. No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm telling you, we interviewed Will Anderson a few years back when he was at Alabama, when John and I were doing SEC Media Days in Atlanta, and Will Anderson wanted off camera, off microphone, he wanted John to show him the swim move that he used to get past that state trooper to get in position. He says, I could use that. Now look at him. NFL All-Pro, Rookie of the Year defensively. John taught him, how to get how the swim move. Really, now you got to leverage. You got to get underneath them and to the side. Keep your feet.
Yeah.
Keep your feet moving. A
lot of diversion too. Hey, look over there. Woof. All right, 3 to go. Got it. We can get them in. Not a problem. Yellow, red, and blue are what are left here on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's spinning away. Where will it land? Well, let's see. Thinking red.
Time has passed. His time has passed.
Yeah.
Time
here to move on.
Spandau Ballet. Oh, yeah. George Pickens. I don't really know how all this works. He is the franchise tag guy for the Cowboys. And his franchise tag is worth $27.3 million. The deadline passed yesterday afternoon, and the Cowboys aren't getting into a long-term contract with Pickens. At least they aren't.
That makes sense.
Now. But so Pickens will be with the Cowboys, and he will be playing for $27.5 million, and that makes Stephen Reed really happy. Can I tell a quick story? We can run over a little bit, can we?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
We've talked before about my good friends, Gunnar Whetstone, his son Hunt, listen in, big Browns fans. They watch and listen. Becky Whetstone as well. Well, Hunt plays youth league baseball, and they have the big state tournament going on in Montgomery. They had the huge event yesterday for all the kids, and there's hundreds of them over at the Metroplex. And Gunnar, who's he's a people person. He goes out just to mill around. He comes back to Becky, she's his wife, and he says, "Look who I found. They've got new BFFs, and it's Stephen Reed."
No way.
It's the Montgomery mayor. Gunnar lives in Troy. I live in Troy.
Yeah.
He's not his mayor, but they're visiting. Stephen's got a few of his people around him and everything. And he said, "Let me introduce you to my wife." And Becky says, "Oh, I know you. You're the mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed. We see you all the time on Longshore and McKnight. And he said, oh, listen, I love being on with those guys. I've known them for 30 years and all that. Good people, da-da-da. So I'm telling you, from finding a guy in the waiting room of the medical facility who knows Plainsman Preston to the mayor of Montgomery, one of our staunch viewers says, hey, I enjoy your visits on Longshore and McKnight.
There you have
I'm
it.
telling you, John, we get around a good bit.
We do get around. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. 2 to go. Blue and red on the Victoryland 777 topic. What will this one be on this? It's the red panel. We know that.
Another new rule. Hopefully this is not that rule in the SEC.
Come on.
Oh, ACC. Yeah, the tiebreaker.
Yeah. Just flip a coin. I mean, come on.
This is not an on-the-field tiebreaker, but this is what caused it. Duke versus Virginia. Miami wasn't playing in the ACC championship game. Duke ends up scoring this touchdown late. That was Darian Mensah, who we talked about. Duke wins the ACC championship, but they are the first Power 5 champion not to make the college football playoff. Instead, they went with Miami, and Miami deserved it. They ended up playing for the national championship, and they ain't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
A 5-way tie for second place put Duke in the championship game over a higher-ranked Miami.
Yeah.
Well, the league, the ACC, which I didn't realize, is going to a 9-game schedule. Several of them will play 9 games. Several of them will play 8. The number one tiebreaker, like we said early on, head-to-head. Then after that, that you go to the team success ranking. That means the teams that are likeliest to get berths in the college football playoff.
That's a neat way of saying eye test.
That's right. Well, that is. That is because nobody really knows how that works. Because the CFA will now give automatic spots to each Power 4 champion, it's important to be sure that the 2 top teams in the league will play in the ACC championship game in December. That's a good thing. I believe in the Power 4 champions. But, John, last year, the Power 4 champion out of the ACC would have gotten a bid, and Miami would not have, and that would have been a travesty.
Just let me pick, look, just let me pick the teams that need to be in the playoff. I'll do that for you, save you a lot of trouble.
It's like our salespeople back in radio. They could massage those ratings. Well, we did better than they did. They only did okay in women, left-handed women over 60, and all that kind of stuff. They're massaging the way they're letting people get in.
I like that. That's a good way.
One
more to go. It's the blue panel. Got to spin it to make it official here.
Staying home.
Staying home. What's going to happen here? Staying home. What do we got?
Is this a good news or the bad news? Because Alvin Kamara is played.
Well, he's
the most famous Saint, the most popular Saint.
Yeah.
They reworked his contract and everything so he could stay with the Saints.
I think sometimes, Barry, Alvin doesn't put forth maximum effort in some games. He does. Others,
and when he does, he's a heck of a good
we got to
back.
step it up a little bit here. He has been a little bummed, nicked up, had some injury issues. Nobody's giving the Saints any love. Now, I get it.
They did sign my guy from the Jags.
The Saints are a lot like college football teams. People really don't know a lot about them. What's going on here? I'm a big fan of their quarterback, though. I think this guy's got a ton of upside. And, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but, finishing above 500 wouldn't be all too bad.
Really? Is that? That doesn't sound like a ringing. Finishing above a 500 wouldn't be too bad.
I'm not sure anybody in the NFC South is going to be any good
they're going
this year.
to suck again.
I'm not sure they're going to suck, but they came on in the latter part of the regular season last year.
Tyler
I get it.
Shuck.
I know they beat the Jets. I was at that game. The Jets are terrible, but I still saw some positives.
On God's green earth? We'll have to save that for another time while you're
Well, because I got a free ticket. I was in New Orleans.
Somebody gave you a ride?
Level. What's that?
Somebody gave you a ride?
Well, I don't mind walking from the French Quarter to the Superdome. It's a nice walk.
Right.
I don't mind doing that. That's okay. And it's a lot easier because you can't park at the Superdome. It's pretty tough.
Tomorrow, we are live in Montgomery together On the road at Stivers Ford Lincoln on the Eastern Boulevard at the Troy Highway, getting into the second half of July, where things are getting hot, not just on the thermometer, but in the showroom at Stivers Ford. Hope you join us there.
That 4th of July summer sales event continues throughout the entire month at Stivers. We're going to tell you all about it tomorrow to get you ready for a big weekend. So, hey, if you're like Dennis Mitchell or Way Offsides Jeff or anybody else that likes to drop by and see us there at Stivers, pop in, say hello. We'd love to see you.
It's coming up. For our guest, Rodney Orr, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market from TiderInsider.com. Jason Caldwell from Auburn 247. And for our producer, Gurn Jr., John Longshore, Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.